Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Exploring the Paranormal. It's been a couple weeks since we've been here, but I'm super excited to get back and get the show rolling again. Thank you, everyone, for your patience during our few hiccups that we've had, but we are back and stronger than ever. Today, I am super excited to be joined by Steph, a fellow Floridian. Super excited to chat with someone who's local. Doesn't happen often in the world today. Everyone's either overseas or in another state. So welcome to the show, Steph. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. I know you've been in the paranormal field for, I think it was 14 years.
Yeah,
was when you sent me your bio. It's one of those, I've had people send me their bio, but then by the time we get them on the show, it's like a half a year later and they're like, well, no, it's 15 now.
No, it's 14.
Okay. And what got you started in the paranormal, first of all?
First of all, in college, I had a boyfriend that died in a motorcycle accident. And for 3 nights afterwards, there was, a kind of ectoplasm standing right in front of the bed. And every time I move, it moved right in front of me, so I couldn't get up. That happened for 3 nights until the funeral, and then no more. So I kind of raised my kids, and I kind of went out and reinvented myself, so to speak.
And that's interesting because everybody usually has the same type of experience. They're like, they were never interested in the paranormal until they had a personal experience. And then now they're like full blown in it and love doing what they do.
Right. Exactly. I wouldn't do anything else.
And I know you had mentioned you started your journey in Texas.
Yes.
So the one question I want to ask, because I know the difference between paranormal spots in Nevada and Florida, what have you noticed is different between the paranormal from Texas to Florida?
There's to me, there's a lot more in Florida, especially like in St. Augustine. There's tons more. I did, to be honest, I did mostly clients when I was down there. So, I mean, before the pandemic, it was mostly spirit haunts. Then the pandemic started, and all I was getting was demonic and evil.
Yeah, that seemed to happen a lot right after the pandemic started.
Right.
So with dealing with the demonic and evil, I know you really can't share client information, and I don't want you to, but what would you consider to be like the worst case that you've been on?
A little girl that was possessed by a shadow person.
No.
Yeah, and then we got her. I worked with father for 2.5 years. She was clean, but then you could look over at the little brother and tell he had an attachment too. But it's one of those scenarios that he would have literally lost it. He was 10 years old. He was catatonic watching what happened to his sister, so we couldn't do anything for him.
Oh, it's so sad, and it's harder when there's kids involved.
Absolutely.
It makes it really hard. So now that we're on the demonic topic, I love kind of, because a lot of people think that everything's demonic. And so I like to talk to people who deal with it because, of course, I mean, you do most of the cases. So for the everyday person, about maybe 5 or 10% of their cases end up demonic. But someone who deals with that every day, I know a majority of your cases are that way.
Exactly.
How do you go about first? I don't really want to use the word diagnosing, but determining if it's a demonic case, how to handle it. And do you bring in any religious support with that?
I do. Remember when I was working with a father for 2.5 years in Texas. Right now, I'm currently studying to be an exorcist myself.
Okay.
So I'll be one in January. And how I go about it is you can just, to me, it's just a look, a feel, a gut instinct is what I call it. So.
Okay. And what kind of signs do people show that might have it? Because, that you have the typical, 7 steps: possession, obsession, repression, the different steps. What are some signs that, if, say, someone in your family is exhibiting strange behavior, how would one determine if that might be?
The biggest thing is, when father taught me this, get Palo Santo and do it around them, counterclockwise. Let's get out the negative, and they'll react. If there's something in there, they'll react. He used to also bless grape juice and give them the grape juice. And if there was a demon, it came out.
Okay.
And
that's interesting.
Yeah, it isn't. I guess hell is cold too, from what I understand. I had 3 or 4 people that came out and never knew each other, different parts of the state. And they all came out when the demon was out and said that they were back there. Demons were watching them with fire, and it was cold.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's definitely everything you've said so far I've never heard before as far as demonic. So that's kind of interesting. It kind of opens my eyes because I use Palo Santo for almost everything,
Right.
along with cascarilla.
Okay. I
And
use frankincense and myrrh too.
okay, yep,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
But-
Palo Santo. I never even thought of using that for demonic cases. That's interesting.
yeah.
That's different take on it because you usually hear the typical holy water crosses,
Right. Right.
anything
The
blessed.
oil.
And does the Palo Santo need to be blessed?
No.
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 Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've
And
had cases where they put the sign across with oil and then they'll say it's burning.
Okay.
That's another good sign.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Mike. Hello, Mike. Welcome to the show. He's saying hello.
Hi.
So, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. We're just kind of chit-chatting back and forth. We can answer any questions you have about the paranormal. And like I say every week, if we don't know the answer, we'll definitely have the resources to get the answer for you between the two of us.
Absolutely.
So since you've moved to Florida, have you done any client cases or are you just mostly working on studying?
I'm right now working on studying. I have my name out there, but it's kind of slow getting going again.
Yeah.
I'm finding. So
yeah, it's challenging here in Florida.
we're just doing fun investigations right now, things like that.
Okay. Cool. So any plans for the future when it comes to your paranormal research that you can share? Because I know everybody's like, oh, I can't share those details yet.
Yeah, definitely The Exorcist. I find that people get taken advantage of when they are demonic. I know somebody that actually charges $3,500 to have them come over, and it takes care of travel. That's a lot of people don't have that kind of money,
right? Yeah.
So, what do you do? And I want to be available to help them.
Right. And it's sad too, because we had a case in Vegas just before we moved. And this poor elderly woman, she was 75 years old. We had no signs that she was haunted because we did several investigations of her home, myself and my team, plus other people that I knew went in and did investigations. And there was no activity that we were getting.
Right.
And, we tried to explain to her, it doesn't mean you're not getting, all that stuff. But she had gone to a local priest or a pastor in the area, and he charged her $1,000 every time he came to her house to talk to her.
Oh my gosh, a priest?
Right. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I go,
geez.
what church is he with? And she's like, oh, he's not a church, he's an independent. And I'm like, oh my God, I felt so bad for her.
That is
I'm
bad.
like,
I know.
call a church.
Exactly. Did she eventually get rid of it?
No, from what I understand, she's still trying to find someone to help her. But I've stepped away from client cases because of that case. Because here I am, we were in the middle of a move at the time, but I was still helping her and sending people to help her. And she's on the phone with me crying that she's not crazy. And it's like, I'm not telling you you're crazy. I'm just telling you we have no proof that there's paranormal activity.
Right.
We've cleansed your house like 10 different ways and you're still having activity. So it's something more, go see your psychiatrist, go see, a priest at a local church. And, she just wouldn't take our steps to help her further. And she ended up reaching out to another team who confirmed it was a demonic attachment.
Right.
And she hasn't reached out to us since. So
the problem with the Catholic Church will only take care of the Catholics, I found out. And it takes a long time to get through that red tape, like about 5 years. So if she can find, like the priest I work with was independent and he was just awesome. So he's retired. So but poor thing.
Yeah, it's tough, especially with so many independent ones out there. You don't know which one is legitimate and which ones are just saying they're independent.
Absolutely.
To take advantage of the people, and that's the tough call.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that, and this is just my take on it, but the priests, Catholic priests, have somewhat of an edge over the other ministers. I don't know what it is, but I just watched Father work and I was astounded.
Right. Yeah. So what would you recommend someone do if they're thinking they have a demonic attachment or any type of paranormal activity to get help?
First of all, I go get a mental clearance. because people are going to ask you for that and physical clearance. Once you've got that, then you need to reach out to demonologists, exorcists, somebody that can take, or even a team that can take that attachment off. You know,
yeah, and that's the tough call is, finding how do because like we were talking about so many, how do you find a reputable team? And that's one thing, because I'm all about educating the public now in the aspect of, finding the right team either to join or to get help from.
Right.
So what are your suggestions for someone to find out if the team they're reaching out to is legitimate or not?
I question them. And then, have them come over for a sit down, talk to them. I had one demonic case that literally went on for 2 years. First team she brought in, all they did was amp it up to get evidence and did nothing else. Yep. So, bring them in for a sit down, body language and their face. You can tell a lot by that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because I have so many people still coming to me today, and I have reputable teams that I'll send them to if I know where they're at.
Right.
But they're like, hey, I was, in contact with team X, Y, and Z, and they came to my house. They did an investigation. They aired the entire investigation on YouTube and then left, and I haven't heard from them since.
Gosh. It's bad.
It's bad. Like that's like almost a weekly occurrence that I'm getting people messaging me about. People doing an investigation and not even coming back to them, giving them their, input. So
they're more interested in the TV show than anything else.
Right. And it's I don't want to say it's hysterical, but it's sad. It is sad in a funny way because it's weird. I even see people in some of the Facebook groups. They'll post, hey, we're a paranormal team. We'll come to your house. If you have paranormal activity, we'll do an investigation and we'll let you know what you have. Oh, and by the way, you'll have to sign a waiver so we can air this on YouTube. And it's like,
oh, geez,
you're not coming to my house.
Right. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. And then you wonder, a lot of them are fly by night. They just start and then they go out and they have no idea. They go in acting like, I'm sorry, but Zach Bagans and antagonizing them pretty much.
Yeah. So, and the sad thing is, I've talked about Zach quite a bit on a lot of my shows, and he knows, I think he really does know that he's done wrong, because you can see a change in his shows now.
Yeah. I haven't watched him recently. Maybe I should.
Yeah. He's changed, because I was on the Lake of Death show, even though it was done virtually.
Yeah.
But just watching that show, and you can see he's changed how he investigates. He still talks about the demonic. Right. Yeah. But he's changed just a little bit. So I think he might have learned his lesson since the demon house.
Yeah, that's good for him. I've heard, and this is just a rumor, that he's had a lot of exorcisms done on himself.
Yeah.
That would scare me. Yeah, into doing it right.
Right. But yeah, good for him for jumping back into the field and trying to get answers.
Absolutely.
He just needs to change his approach.
Absolutely. He sets an example, especially for the younger kids.
Yeah.
And that's what's so important.
Yeah. And that's also what I'm trying to teach people is you can get, even if it's demonic, you can get so much more out of it by being nice. Right. Because, I've noticed the negative entities, if they see you being nice, they're going to want to know why. Why is this person being nice?
No, absolutely. Definitely.
And they'll come out of the woodwork and, try to make you not be so nice.
Right, they will. I've got so many EVPs. They're not nice, even though I'm nice. They're not being nice.
Right. Yep.
And it's scary. You gotta protect before you go in. And a lot of these kids don't do that, and they're walking out with attachments, I think.
Yep. Yeah. I think most people that we're now taking care of are new investigators who didn't know better, and now they're clients.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that's scary. They probably won't continue on with that.
Yeah. Or, and this is always a hot topic. They come from an investigation. They have an attachment. They realize they're having activity in their home, and then they decide to investigate their own home. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a bad idea. Real bad.
100%.
Don't ever investigate yourself. You're just going to bring up more activity.
Right. It's hysterical because we, when we were hosting events in Vegas, we ordered a spirit box.
Right.
And it was just for the event because, people want instant satisfaction when you're at, a public event. So we ordered it to use during the event. but my son's like, I wonder if it works. And I'm like, don't turn it on in this house.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No way.
We went to a local park and tested it.
I know
Like, that doesn't get
my husband makes me do everything outside. I mean, outside on the driveway. He's scared. He says, juju coming into the house.
right.
So I honor that.
Yeah, going back to protection, what do you use and what do you recommend people do to help protect themselves before going on a paranormal investigation?
I use a prayer to St. Michael's. I pray to St. Michael to bring light down from the heavens, totally encompass me, and close it with Jesus's blood. And then the armor of God. I use that as well.
Okay.
Afterwards, I do the frankincense and myrrh or the Palo Santo, all of us, including the cars.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah. And do you do anything in your home to keep spirits out? Because I know I have a grid of crystals and herbs all over the place.
No, I do too, definitely. And I do cleanse about once a month. You can tell when it gets really negative in here.
Yeah.
So luckily, I haven't had anything come home with me. You know, I've been very lucky with that.
Good. Yeah. I had one spirit follow me home, and it was an angry one, and he was mad he couldn't get in. He punched our front door.
Oh my God.
and I looked out the peephole, and I'm like, I would have seen him running away, and there was nobody. So and it was one of those, it was not a demonic, but it was a negative entity that was there.
Right.
And he wasn't happy. He couldn't get into my house.
I bet. Yeah. Because when they die, they have the same personalities. They've got free will. They've got everything. So if he's, you know, angry, he's still going to remain angry. Did you come back, or was that it?
That was it. That was it.
Okay.
You know, and it was interesting because during the investigation, I was physically attacked. One of our investigators was scratched, and another one of our lead investigator, he had a time slip.
Yeah.
Where he lost all track of time. But during that time, his eyes turned solid black. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, crap, what am I, this guy's bigger than I am.
Right.
What am I going to do? But he snapped out of it probably, I think it was about 30 seconds, because I was counting in my head. I'm like, if I get to 60, I'm trying to get him out of here.
30 seconds, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, and he snapped out of it before that time. So he's like, wait, he didn't even know he was on the investigation with us.
Oh my gosh.
And we'd already been there 2 hours.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been attacked once, and believe it or not, this was in Texas. I was in Florida on the beach. Flies. I've been there before. There were no flies. They just sit on me and bite me, and every time I moved, they come with me.
Okay.
And then I get like these burn things under the skin. I don't know if you know what I mean. And then I was on my knees because I had tripped. Something took my head and slammed me 3 times into the sand.
Ooh.
So, and that was a case, and they were not happy with me. Yeah. Because I wouldn't give up.
And actually, to get away from the negative spirits, because I like to talk about the happy moments as well, even though I know negative does happen and I've been through it. I did have one spirit, because the way I have my protection set up is positive spirits can get in. So I did have one spirit that during COVID, we used to investigate the same location every month, and it was like our training ground. He came during COVID to check on us inside the house. Have you ever had a good spirit come and just say, hey?
No, I haven't, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
But that would be cool.
Yeah. It was interesting, because he was in the kitchen, just kind of like checking in on you type of is how it looked. And then once he saw me, he just faded away.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it was interesting. It was like, I miss you guys type of thing. It was.
That's great. It's great. I always feel the angels are here. St. Michael's here. That I do feel, but never a good spirit. So
cool. That's always good. That's good to have him by your side.
Oh, absolutely.
And bringing back the exorcism and exorcist that you're training for.
Yeah.
That's kind of, granted, I'm not very familiar. I mean, I was raised Roman Catholic, so I was always taught that for exorcisms, you had to get trained, like the Pope's exorcist, get trained through the Vatican. How does an average person or someone who's not a priest with
Right.
the Catholic Church become an exorcist?
No, they're a sect of the Catholic Church.
Mhm.
It's Celtic Crossroad Catholic Church.
Okay.
Roman Catholics recognize them, but say I did a wedding,
Mhm.
it won't be acknowledged by them. Things
Okay.
like that. And I don't know if you watch Legions of Exorcists
Mhm. Yep.
ever. Okay, Rita Struggler, she was a woman on there, and
Mhm.
I've been
Yep.
looking forever to do exorcisms, and the only thing I could find was to become a nun and then help the guy do it, and that didn't fit with me.
Right.
So I reached out to her, and she said she'd been thinking of doing a school for quite
Mhm.
some time, and bada bing, there it was.
Okay. Cool.
So
Yeah. I loved her on that show. But
I do too.
yeah, I know Reverend Sean and Bishop Long.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I know both of them.
Sean's
They've been on
cool.
all my shows quite a few times, and Sean's out in Vegas where I was. So he
Right?
he he was my counselor when I needed help with demonic cases.
Oh, that's good. He's good at
Yeah.
that.
Yes, he
Real
is.
good.
Mhm. Yeah, he actually
So
even wrote the foreword to my Vegas book.
oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
So
get that.
yeah, he's a great guy. I love him.
Yeah, he
But
is.
yeah,
Big
I
teddy
didn't
bear.
realize she was doing that.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
we're the first graduating class, and
Mhm.
then in January, we graduate, and then she's gonna take another 10 10 girls. It's only for women.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then that actually brings up a couple questions I have because even though I no longer practice part of the Roman Catholic Church,
Right.
I've done more spiritual work,
Yeah.
and what I've learned is almost every religion has some sort of rite of exorcism, even though they call it something different,
Right.
but it's all essentially the same.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
being that you're trained with the Roman Catholic aspect of it, are you able to help someone who's, I mean, it's all about the power of belief. Are you able to
Is.
help someone who, isn't of that same religion or,
Yeah,
how does that
in fact, I try to cater it so they're comfortable.
work? Okay.
Like you say Buddhist, I'll do research
Mhm.
and, cater to them so they're comfortable with it, but still do my
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So that's how I do it.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know with a lot of the people that we helped in Vegas, there was one team that I was a part of, and they kept trying to help this person, and they
Yeah,
were using Roman Catholic methods, and
be
nothing was
consulted.
working.
Right.
And, so here I am. I finally come out of the box saying, hey, I practice, magic, witchcraft, and I can help her with all of that stuff.
Right.
And they're like, oh, wow. And the minute I walked in, it was like, oh, this worked. And it's like, you can't
Yeah,
use, it's like I couldn't go into a Roman Catholic's home and, use the cascaria. And
right.
I
Exactly.
have to,
Well,
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. The clients, they have to believe in it in
Mhm.
order to get the entity out. That's the biggest thing. They
Right.
have to work. We're just teaching them kind of to empower them,
Hmm.
is what I call it.
Yeah. And that's the hardest part. I call it self-possession.
Yeah,
Is an aspect that I've worked on researching a lot about is, as long as you're confident in what you're doing, nothing else can possess you because
absolutely.
you're
I
full.
believe
I
that.
don't really want to say full of yourself in the aspect of sounding cocky, but you're
Yeah,
confident in your skills. And that helps, prevent the
it,
possession from actually happening.
it does. It
Mhm.
definitely. I mean, I'm working on a current case. It's over in Canada.
Mhm.
Um, and she channeled it without protection and
Mhm.
opened herself wide up. So now she's got demonics constantly. It's turned into an incubus type
Mhm.
situation. There's so many there, I wouldn't even know which types. There's so many.
Right.
So I'm trying to get her, she needs to be accountable for herself. Like
Mhm.
she needs to show up for the appointments, things like that, simple things.
Right.
She doesn't do it. I told her there's no exorcism.
Mhm.
Father just will not do it. He has his criteria.
Right. Yeah. And that's the hard part is when they don't, help themselves. It's like we
Exactly.
can't help you if you don't, we give you homework for a reason.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and it's like even when we work with kids, I always tell the kids that, if they believe their teddy bear will protect them,
Mhm.
set that teddy bear up wherever they think the paranormal entity is coming from and put all
Right.
your trust in that and it'll help reduce it. And it's that
Exactly.
that actually works.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
it. I believe it. Have you
Yeah.
had many children that were possessed? Have
No possessions. I've actually never done any demonic cases.
okay,
It
that's
all turned
good.
out the one that we thought was demonic,
Yeah.
We had went in and I had worked with Reverend Sean in the background for that one, and it turned out that it was just an angry spirit.
Okay.
And what it was is the spirit was angry that the daughter was using a Ouija board and dabbling with witchcraft.
Oh,
Because it
okay.
was just from the EVPs that we captured and the activity that we had, it
Right.
was, the spirit was not angry because there was no activity until she started questioning and bringing home, different things from witchcraft, because she didn't
Right.
know what she was doing.
That's dangerous.
And the entity was mad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's when I offered to take the daughter under my wing, show her what I knew. And, but then they sold the house and we don't know what happened after that.
I wonder if it left or
Yeah.
still in there.
It probably is still there, but like we had one question, the devil card was missing from her tarot deck.
Okay.
So we
That's
had
fine.
asked, did the daughter hide the devil card?
Right.
And we had one EVP of a male saying yes, and then a female like no, like she was correcting him.
Right.
Like the guy spirit was trying to get the daughter in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
But the woman setting him straight, like no.
Right? That's hilarious. I had a one of my team members she's chatty Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
It went on and on and on. And one of the EVPs I got, I said, will you just shut up? So they are kind of funny.
Yeah, they are. Yep. We've had EVPs where the guy that I was investigating with in Vegas, F you, Brent, with his
Right.
name. And then when I would talk, they would be like, hi, honey.
It's great.
It's like, he doesn't want to talk to you. He wants to talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I just sit there and reason with them if they're, just be nice and come and say, sir, we're going to have to basically kick you out. 9 times out of 10, they're going to do it. They're going to amp the energy down and, close it. So.
Yeah, if they're not demonic or so super negative,
right,
they're gonna do what they can to stay, because they're comfortable. They're there for a reason.
Absolutely.
They're gonna, it's like we had a spirit in an apartment that we rented in Vero Beach, and it was an old farmer, because I would see him in the overalls, no t-shirt, no shirt underneath, and barefoot.
Right.
So it was a former orange grove, and he would walk through the front door into my son's room. And I never felt negative or anything about that. And I just figured it was residual energy because it was, the same motion.
Same thing over and over.
And I would get cigar smoke in the house.
Oh.
And nobody around us. I would go outside to make sure nobody was smoking. And I'd come back in the house. And I don't know why I called him George, but I did. Yeah. I would be like, dang it, George, I don't allow smoking in the house. And it instantly stopped. Not a slow fade away, but it was instant.
That's awesome. He's a nice guy.
And it's like, if you want to live here, you got to follow my rules.
Exactly. And they know. I mean, as long as you talk nice to them. I mean, if you talk, like one day I hate to say it, I was in a bad mood. And I said the same things I said nice words, but I guess I said them kind of harsh. Mm-hmm. And got an EVP that said, gosh, she's mean. I got to change this here.
What a meanie. No.
I know exactly. I thought I got to change this. I felt bad.
So how are the exorcism classes going?
They're going great. The only thing is that they figured out that it's a year-long class. Well, we're doing a year-long class in 6 months. So all the work instantly doubled up. But it's going great. We're learning a lot of things, and then so
keeping you busy.
Most definitely. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yep. And are you looking forward to finally graduating from that? And what do you plan on using with those skills?
I am. I plan the same thing. I plan on doing clients' homes.
Okay.
And one-stop shop, I guess, kind of thing. But yeah, that's my thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to continue that.
Cool. And I noticed in your bio, you said that you also do cleansings.
Yes.
I know everybody's method of cleansing is different, because even people are like, you do what for cleansings when I tell them how I do it?
Right.
But how do you do cleansings?
I put fragrances and myrrh in it, and then I swing it. Okay. Going counterclockwise, going to each room, and basically saying Our Father. I have the clients come with me because they're the ones that really got to kick it out.
Right. Yep.
you know.
Okay.
So if,
Yep.
yeah, so that's basically what I do. We go from back to front
Okay. Yep.
and through the
Kind
front
of similar
door.
to how you sage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yep.
What do you do? How do you do it?
We do, of course, the saging in the home, but then
Yeah,
I use cascarilla, which is the crushed eggshells,
yeah.
and I'll turn it into a powder, and then I'll go through the home and we sprinkle it on the windowsills. We sprinkle it
Okay,
around the entire house, and then over every doorway on both sides of the doorway,
right.
depending on the religion, I'll use the
Okay,
cascarilla to draw a symbol. So, if they're Catholic or Christian, we've done crosses. And
right.
then if it's the crosses, then I have the client follow behind me and then seal that cascarilla cross with holy water.
Okay, that makes
So,
sense. What do you do
yeah,
about mirrors?
it all depends. I
Yeah.
know the one case that we had, we really didn't do much about the mirrors, except for in
Okay.
one room during the investigation. We didn't even, and I should know better. We didn't even put two and two together, but the daughter had her dresser with the mirror and then
Right.
a vanity with a mirror, and they were facing each other.
Oh, geez.
And
Okay.
during the
Gotcha.
investigation, the mirror started shaking.
That's telling.
Yeah. And so, I mean, other than that, we just told the homeowner, it's like, don't put the mirrors facing each
Right, exactly.
other.
I've
And
had
when they
people
did
that
that,
just
it stopped.
yeah.
So,
I've had people just take the mirror out. They don't want it
mhm.
anymore.
Okay.
But I usually put a cross of holy oil on each one, just to make sure,
Hmm.
just to
Okay.
cover
Yeah.
all the bases.
Right.
So
And that's something that I never really even think of much outside of that
yeah.
one case where because we had a flashlight on the dresser, and that's how we could tell that they were moving in the dark, because the flashlight, you could see the reflection bouncing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And we're like, okay, the desk is moving.
it
It's like, what do we do now?
was a portal then. They
Yeah.
created a portal.
Yeah.
How do you close it?
I use pendulums for the portals.
Okay.
And what I do is once I find the portal, I'll let the pendulum spin and I'll pull, I guess you would say, the energy from the earth or from below me,
Yeah.
and then bring it, into my body with the white light of protection. And then I envision
Right.
all of that shooting down through the pendulum
Okay.
and into the portal, almost like it, and then envisioning the portal shattering.
Okay.
And that
That's
usually seems
perfect.
to work, at least for
Yeah.
the cases I've done.
Right. I generally just do visualization the whole time.
Okay.
I mean, really deep meditation
Hmm.
and then close
Yeah.
it that way.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. This is similar, except for I just add the pendulum to it.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. I love pendulums.
Yep. Oh yeah, they're my go-to tool.
No, I
It's
know.
like,
I
oh, go ahead.
collect them. I was just
Okay.
gonna say I collect them. I've got
Yeah.
like 30 of them.
It's like we go on investigations, and other people that I go with, they have all these tools. And here I
Yeah.
open my thing. I have a digital voice recorder, a video camera, a whole box full of pendulums,
Right.
dowsing
Basically that's
rods.
all you need. You are your
Right.
best
Right.
equipment,
Yeah.
I find.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I only bring the tech tools in the form of the voice recorders and the video cameras, so I can have, documentation of what happened.
absolutely. Now, do you have
Yeah.
them sign a document or I
Oh
have a
yeah.
release of authorization is what I have them
Yeah.
sign.
We have a whole stack of forms that they sign.
I hear ya. You have to nowadays,
Yeah.
liability form and everything. I
Yeah.
even had
Yeah.
the team do that.
Right. That's the other reason why we don't do client investigations. We've decided to step away from that, and we
Yeah.
want to take a more scientific approach to it. And
Okay.
my team, it's easy. It's my husband and my son and myself.
Oh, good.
So
That's great.
it makes it easy.
Yeah.
And we want to do, like I said, the scientific end of it. So we want to go to locations where we can actually do experiments.
Right.
And, you're not going to go to a client's home that is, possibly
No.
demonic or whatever and say, hey, we have this new device. We want to experiment on you.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
not gonna
gonna,
go over very well.
right, that's not gonna cut it. Well, is it
What
gonna prove that I
places?
have paranormal activity? It's like, no, we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what places do you go to?
Usually it's a park, to start,
Okay.
in Vegas, because back in Florida, we moved, and then I had knee replacement surgery once we got back, so it was kind of
Okay.
everything's been put on hold
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as doing big investigations. But, back in
Right.
Vegas, we would have 2 museums that allowed us to
Oh,
come in regularly and do investigations and test out different theories and stuff like that. So we were able to
that's
go. It made
great.
it nice because we could go back.
Right.
and retest the theory, you know, underneath a new moon versus a full moon, or, you know, and different things like that.
Right.
And then there were several parks that we would hit up and go to. So there was a lot of locations in the Vegas area that we hit up in. But here in Florida, we're still trying to find a few locations. I have a couple that I'm working on.
Yeah.
And they're thinking on allowing us to do that in exchange for hosting public events to help them raise money to support the organization.
It's not a bad deal.
So it's like, if you want me to host a public event, as long as you let me experiment on your location, sure. Because we have, there's this little historical society right by us, and they actually have old homes from the area when it was a plantation.
Cool.
The original trading post, and then behind the trading post is a small community cemetery.
Oh gosh.
And it's all part of this historical society. They made like a little village out of it, and it's the perfect place.
Right. And absolutely. Have you done it before, or you're doing
Not yet? I've been there several times before, but we haven't done investigations there yet.
Okay. What kind of recorder do you use?
It's a Ciampo.
Okay.
And it has the triple recorder on the top.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And then what I like about it is on the screen, it's one of your cheaper ones, but I like on the screen, it has an output so you can watch. So when you talk, it shows the levels.
Oh, that is good.
So if you're sitting there in silence and the thing moves,
right,
you know, a spirit's talking to the device.
That's
good.
It's
like nobody's talking, nobody's saying anything, but the voice box said it picked up something.
Yeah.
And when we immediately stop and play it back, and there's usually something there.
That's good. I got this before they got crazy, the DR60. It's like, I got it 10 years ago, you know, when it was cheap. Now it's like people are like gouging it. It's like $5,000 for one. And it's just, I'm not going to pay that. No, I don't know anybody that can pay that.
No, and it's sad because everybody thinks that because it says paranormal on it, it's what you have to have.
Yeah.
And I tell people, you know, you don't need the most expensive piece of equipment. You know, it's not going to, you know, change the fact of whether you capture an EVP or not. It might change the quality a little bit, but it's, you know, and that's the one thing that aggravates me about the field is, you know, it's like spend $10,000 and get this, you know, whole set of equipment. And it's like, my thing is and that's part of what we're testing right now is K2 meters and EMF detectors.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
My thing is, who in the world decided spirits set off K2 meters? You know, how do you know that was a spirit setting it off?
Right. It could be anything.
Right. And we've been actually diving into the science behind radio frequencies.
Okay.
And they can travel for up to hundreds of miles.
Whoa.
So who's to say that your K2 meter is not picking up a certain radio frequency?
Absolutely.
You know, it's like you ask a question, it doesn't go off. You ask a question, oh, look, it went off. There's a spirit here. Then you ask the question 3 more times and nothing. But that 4th time, there's a spirit here again. That's the wave. You know, that's the energy wave that's coming through that, you know. So that's what we're trying to do. It's not a popular theory in the paranormal field. But
it sounds interesting. Definitely. You know,
that's the type of stuff we're researching.
I've used it once. There was a spirit in the corner, and I did go over to him to prove it's with the SLS, and and just waved it around and make sure, and it did go. Surprisingly enough. So for what it's worth.
Right. It's one of those, I'm not saying that it doesn't work. It might work, but it's like, you know, did they take into account, you know, all of these things? And they don't like on the shows, they don't teach that to people because, you know, how do you know that you're not too close to the TV? Or how do you know that there's, you know, the telephone wires outside of the house aren't affecting it?
Absolutely. Or like, you know, you wires or anything.
Right. Cut power completely. I mean, even our bodies can set it off.
Without a doubt. Definitely.
And people don't realize that. It's like, they think, oh my goodness, it's going off. There's a spirit here. And it's like, is there?
I see people that use it just for talking to the spirits. And I'm not, you know, I don't believe in that.
No, we use them for baselines in a location. So that way we know to stay away from, oh, this area has high EMF. Or we could tell, you know, like when we did client cases, we can say, hey, you're probably having paranormal activity in this room because your electrical wires aren't shielded and your EMF is off the charts.
Right.
You're hallucinating in here.
Exactly. It causes a plethora of things.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but I don't know. Yeah, I agree. You don't need all those instruments. I am a gadget girl. I hate to say it.
Mhm.
So I bring the instruments mainly for the team. They're into
Mhm.
it. Um, I just figure, like I said, the best one is yourself,
Mhm.
and the
Yep.
and the recorder and the video camera, and that's all you need, really.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, the tools are fun to play with because the one tool that I've always said you really shouldn't use was the Ovilus, just because
Right.
it's a
I don't believe
pre-recorded
in that.
data bank.
Right.
But someone had it at an investigation, and I asked if I could use it.
Right.
And I was like, let me just play around with it. And here in my
Yeah.
mind, it's like, oh, I'm going to disprove this thing 100%. And I'm walking, and I didn't realize that the rest of the team had stopped.
Okay.
So I had walked down a hallway and turned a corner, so they were no longer in view.
Okay.
The thing was silent until I turned that corner, and then
Right.
immediately Death, Devil, Demon, Sacrifice
Oh my
alone
God.
popped up on the thing. And I'm
Right.
like, so I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, who are you going to sacrifice? And it
Right.
came up, you.
Oh my God.
I turned around and realized I was alone. I'm like, nope. Went
Right.
right back to the group.
Oh my God. I never believed in those things either, but right now I'm gonna have
Right.
to
And
take a
I'm like,
closer look.
it's like, oh, should I try it again? And I'm like, I go, was it a fluke?
Yeah.
It could
No.
have been, but the fact that it answered my question,
Right.
it was
It
like,
was all that. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
yeah. And that, we have it on digital, because I had the digital voice recorder with me at the same time. And I'm just
Right.
like, I still can't believe that happened. And it's one of those things now I'm kicking myself for not staying and asking more questions.
Yeah. Yeah. But you never know. I get
Right.
kind of,
Yeah.
it was a cemetery or a park or,
No, it was a museum.
okay.
Hmm.
Oh, they didn't want
Yeah.
you there.
Yeah. So then the rest of the group, when I went back and showed them the obelisk, they all came running to the area and they started asking questions. There was nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just you and Sarge.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, this isn't making me feel any better.
Right.
Whatever's here
That's true.
targeted me.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That is
right.
true.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. And I'd like to get my hands on another one. It's not a tool that I would use, so I'm not going to buy
Right.
it.
Well, if you
So
ever want to borrow, I don't think we live. How far away do we live from each other?
I'm 2 hours from Vero Beach.
Hey, about 2 hours then.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you ever want to borrow it, we can meet halfway.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely. If not, we'll have to do an investigation together and test it.
That'd be great.
It's like we don't live that far away.
No, I'm still looking for places like the museum and things like that. I've asked, like there's a haunted restaurant there, but
Mhm.
he used to do tours that the people kind of investigate. For some reason, he doesn't do it anymore. I think I probably know why.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of locations like that because, like in my one book, I featured St. Augustine Lighthouse,
yeah,
and my
with it,
publisher and I we wanted to host an event at the
yeah,
lighthouse for the book signing and then a paranormal investigation afterwards.
right.
And they wanted $5,000 just for the night. And
Oh my God.
when they asked why, they're like, we were on ghost hunters. It was almost like they felt entitled to get it.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
There's
yeah, we're still trying to find locations too.
there's a cemetery, and we're gonna hit, and it starts from the 1700s in St. Augustine, and
Mhm.
goes up. And they actually encourage people to come in
Okay.
at all. You can go anytime at night.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've been to St. Augustine, so I'm gonna have to check that out next time I'm over that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna head over in a couple of weeks. It's worth it.
Okay.
Stay the night in a Honda B&B
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
do the touristy paranormal thing.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing wrong with doing that once in a while. We got to let
Yeah,
loose because we do this full
exactly.
time. It's kind of like,
Exactly.
yep.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
Um,
outside of going to St. Augustine for that, do you guys have any other plans that you guys are looking forward to doing soon?
yeah, what are we doing next? Next Friday, we're gonna do. Trying to think, Greenwood Cemetery,
Mhm.
and yeah, we're
Is
gonna
that the
do
one in
that
Orlando?
close to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then after that, there's supposedly this area a homeless woman said that there was lots of activity there, spirit activity, UFO activity. I don't know, but we thought we'd go check it out.
Okay, that sounds
Deep in the
cool.
woods. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. I want to get down to the Florida Everglades because I've heard so many stories.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
That'd be
because the
awesome.
Florida Everglades has it all: the skunk ape,
Yeah.
UFO, ghost.
Right. That would be great.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the locations on my bucket list.
Yeah. How long is that? It's far away, isn't it? Like on the other
It
side.
is. Well,
Yeah.
we're close to the northwestern part of the park. But from what I've heard, the best place to get to it is from like Miami area, where the paranormal activity occurs.
That's not too far away.
So, no.
That'd be worth it.
And I know we want to go to the Florida Keys, but that's a long drive from here.
That's
so we're
why I
going to
wanna
take a
go
boat
too.
from St. Petersburg.
That's a good idea. Just charter a boat, or
It's an hour boat ride.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So, and they actually have boat tour companies that go daily to Key West.
Oh, okay. I gotta check into those because that's where I've always wanted to go too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They leave in the morning to go to Key West, then they depart in the evening. So you could either get a one-way ticket and then spend the weekend in Key West and then get a one-way ticket back,
right?
Or just be back in time to come home that night.
Yeah, I think we need the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go for one night. That's it.
No. So. There's way too much to do Key West.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not going for the haunted stuff.
Right. It's beautiful down there. The beaches are gorgeous.
Yes. Yeah. And then if you do get down to that area, go to Fort Jefferson.
Okay.
That has a haunted lighthouse on the property, and it is also believed to have several portals, and they let you camp
on
the beach. They let you camp on the beach. It's on an island, and it is also rumored to be haunted by the spirit of Samuel Mudd, Dr. Mudd.
Okay.
Because that's where he was imprisoned after Lincoln's assassination.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Is Fort what again?
Fort Jefferson.
Okay. I want to check that out.
Yeah.
Write it down now. Okay. Yeah, that's worth it. That one sounds worth it. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that one, I know if you go to St. Petersburg, they have boat tours that will take you out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a weekend trip. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not a camper, so I would just go for the day and come back home. But I know a lot of people do camping, and they take their camping gear and they let you camp right there on the grounds.
Yeah, I'm not much of a camper either. I'm more of a hotel person, but I'll try it for a night.
No, I won't. Nope.
Yeah.
My parents always used to joke that my idea of roughing it was staying at a Holiday Inn instead of a Ritz-Carlton.
There you go. I'll do that hot wire thing, where it's 4 stars, but you don't know what the hotel is.
Right.
So I always do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's always something nice, so you can't lose.
I haven't done that yet. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, and it's cheaper. I got it for a double screen, like $99 a night. That was pretty good.
Right. That's not bad at all.
No.
Yeah. Especially the way hotel prices are going.
Oh God, yes. This is out in Colorado too.
Mm-hmm.
So, ski season's starting.
Yeah, exactly.
Not me.
Well, we have a few minutes left. Mike, I know Mike said he had to go, but I'm sure he'll watch the replay. And then Polly, I'm not sure if you're still here, or Angela. Hello and welcome to the show. Angela said that she is from Georgia and hopes that everyone is doing well.
Oh, good. Yeah, we are. How are you?
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I know they said that a little while we were chatting away.
Right.
But if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to ask on the replays. I will make sure that if it is for my guest, I'll get the questions to her and she can get the answers back to you. Or if you have any questions for me, let me know. But we have a few minutes left. Steph, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you or how they can get in touch with you if they need help?
Yeah. Go to my website. It's real easy at www.supernaturalseekers.com. Or I have my phone, Facebook. Supernatural Seekers.
Okay. And I'll definitely get that information up on our show page.
Thank
And for
you.
those of you watching from Parallax Network or Things, you can also follow the show at Exploring the Paranormal Show on Facebook, or you can catch the replay at Heather Leigh PhD on YouTube. I'll make sure I get that replay up there by the end of the day today. And I'll get you the link too, Steph, if you want to have
Okay,
that to
great.
share around.
That'd be great.
So,
So,
and guys,
now
next
do
week
you,
we will. Oh, go ahead.
oh, so I was
Oh
going to
no.
ask if you had animals.
Oh yeah, I have a dog and a cat.
What's your take on them seeing things?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We know our dog has seen them, and our cat.
Yeah, they're
As,
extremely intuitive.
Yep. Yeah, they you know, and they hear noises, of course, that we don't hear.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I know the cat has heard a noise, and then when she's been staring at something, I'll look over there, and it's almost, I want to say it's almost like the heat rising off of a sidewalk, hot sidewalk kind of
Right.
look. So like almost something was there but faded away
Right.
when I
Right.
started looking, but couldn't make out what it was. But yeah.
Yeah, it's my dog. She just sits there and barks at nothing. Well, maybe it's some.
Right. Something you can't see.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because with animals, you know, nobody's told them don't believe.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's the biggest problem, is that we're told not to believe in that stuff.
Yeah, about 4 or 5, it's like, shh, don't say it. People think you're crazy.
Right.
And so it gets shut down with a lot
Yeah.
of people. So it's a shame.
It is. It is. Yeah. That's why I'm actually working on a class for teaching kids about the paranormal.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So,
That'll help.
yeah. Kind of like a not make them afraid type of thing.
Right.
Offer
Right.
tips on what to do if they think there's a monster under the bed type of thing. And then also to coach the parents and how to handle it.
Right. Because parents don't know.
Mhm.
They just
Yep.
flounder.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah. So hopefully next year that'll be done and ready to go.
Yeah, that's great.
But anything else before we get going? We have 5 minutes left.
I'm thinking. No, I can't think of any. Just if you need help in Florida, give me a call.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep. Yeah, and if anyone reaches out to me, I'll definitely put them in contact with you, because I have a team, but there's one in Vero Beach and then one in West Palm.
Okay.
But I need someone, I know you're not too far north of them, but I need someone a little bit further north to handle some people that reach out that are further north.
Okay. Well, how far away is it? We travel up to an hour and a half.
Okay. Yeah,
away.
I know. Yeah, the other teams I work with are probably about an hour south of you, hour to an hour and a half south of you.
Okay.
So you'll be able to cover all the range that they want.
Yeah, really.
I finally
had to stop an hour and a half. People were calling like 5 hours away, and it's like, I can't do that. No. Especially during the pandemic, I was doing it alone because no one wanted to jump in and help me. And I understand that.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's sad when people need help, but sometimes you just, you gotta set up your own personal boundaries.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said, well, you can tell if someone's not has a mental issue. It's very obvious.
Right.
To me anyways. To a lot of people, they just exhibit typical behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially once you've handled so many cases and you know how to pick up on that.
Yeah, you can tell on the phone instantly.
Right.
So
yeah, I know we had one case where we were chatting and he seemed normal, but then the minute we got to drug use, it was like the drugs he used, some of them I've never even heard of.
Oh my God.
And when we looked him up, we're like, ooh. We're like, if you want our help, stop using drugs first.
Absolutely. We went to a house once and there was something evil in it, not demonic, but evil. I could hear the guy go into his room and snort cocaine. He was so loud, you could literally, and I'm like, we're not going to get anywhere with this case.
Yeah. And it's not to say that they're not haunted.
Yeah.
But they're welcome, in my opinion, from my experiences, they're welcoming it.
Exactly.
Because
I
the
agree.
negativity, is attracted to the drug use, and it's even attracted to people with mental, problems.
Right. Absolutely. Well, the daughter dabbled. She had a pentagram on her on a mirror in the room. So she was dabbling without knowing what she was doing.
Yeah. Learn what you're
Yeah,
doing
so
first is what I tell people.
absolutely.
Find someone to teach you.
Right? It's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you again. This has been a great conversation. That hour went
Yeah,
by
thank
quick,
you.
and we covered quite a bit too.
Yeah, we did. We
Exactly.
did. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you.
Definitely. And I'll get your contact information up on my Facebook page as well. But next week, I will be joined by special guest Bruce Burnett. We'll be discussing the upcoming Tombstone Wild West Paracon. And then mark your calendars now for November 14th. Rich Valdez from Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists will be on my show. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And if you can't ever watch the show live, you can always catch our YouTube channel as well. Again, thank you, Steph, for joining us. It
You're
was
welcome.
absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic. And we will definitely have
I
to be in
agree.
contact so we can investigate together.
Oh, without a doubt. That'd be awesome.
Perfect. And you guys all have a fabulous day. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.